Hi, dyslexic genius here, Brett Hurt. My phone number is 864-236-1680, or you can email me at dyslexicgeniushurt@gmail.com. What I'm going to talk about is how an Edison home motor works and some of the downfalls of the gear train, especially the brass gears. And this is comparable to most Edison phonographs. So I'm going to start off by saying you have three shafts, like this shaft here, and I'm going to have this as number one. The center one is number two gear train, and this is number three gear train. Yes.
Why is this not considered a shaft?
This shaft here, and there's one down here, and on the other side, hold the two castings together, and they're screwed together. That's how this is held together.
Okay, so they're set different from those.
Yeah, they're set different. So each shaft has two gears. This is the spring barrel, and this gear, big gear right here, is the governor drive gear. What happens is this gear goes this way, and it turns that little gear, which turns this little gear this way, into a small brass gear down here, which transfers over to a steel gear, which runs the big brass gear here, which is the governor drive gear. You see this. What happens on Edison homes is that this gear, this brass gear here, and the one back here that's driven off the spring barrel drive gear, gear number one, and this is, shaft number one. On shaft number two, all the power is hitting this little brass gear. But why did Edison put a screw in here? So that you can adjust this gear and get it perfectly aligned into that little brass gear, is because this is where all the power of the phonograph works in the gear train. And these little brass gears down here on shaft number two are notoriously, after 100 years or so, of just coming undone, because we have constant power from this steel gear driving into that little brass gear. And that's how they work. The governor drive gear, this big gears, rarely ever fail. You can get a nick in it and you'll get a tick in your governor, but this gear never fails. It's this little gear and the other little brass gear that fail. So if you crank the phonograph up, well, let's just turn this on because I can show you. We'll wind this up a little, get it to run. Oh, it's alive. This gear is driving in here like this, which is spinning this gear train one, rotating this way counterclockwise. And you can see that brass gear running here, but all the power is in this bottom one down here. And those usually fail over 100 years. You can slow this down a little. You can find these are phonograph suppliers online. If you Google phonograph suppliers, they'll usually have one of these as a replacement. Not a brand new one they've remanufactured. If you're worried about originality, then you can get on like eBay and look for one that's in good condition. I just buy remanufactured brand new ones, and they run a lot better. And some of them come with a screw in them, so you can adjust and line them up. These are just little things that happen to your phonographs. You run into this a little bit. I love this hobby, and that's my tip for the day.